I guess we're live. I'm not quite, it's been a long time since I've done a live stream. Just want to make sure I um, see what I'm doing here. Not sure if I can see you or not. That's what my issue is here. So bear with me. Um, this live stream is really about me. It's really practice. So just bear with me here. Um, uh, I'm not sure if I'm still on or not. Oh, yes, there I am. I don't know how to get to you, so um, just looking to see if there's a control place where I can see chats if you're on. I can't. Okay. I probably jumped ahead too fast because I'm not exactly sure how to get back to where you are. And I would really like to be able, if anybody comes on, to read chats. So let's see what we've got here. I just want to talk a little bit about creative genius. Okay, there we are. We all, there we are. We all have creative genius. And I was preparing today for a little workshop that I'm doing on Thursday, and I wanted to just share some thoughts with you about creative genius and your design. And part of my creative strengths, one of my creative strengths is actually logic. So I was over on Facebook Live just a few minutes ago with the first run of this, and part of logic is about, or having logical circuitry is about practicing over and over until you master it. So this is my second practice run. I'm a projector with a 3-5 profile, so I'm sharing with you what doesn't work. And I'm discovering what doesn't work along the way as I put this together. One of the things that I'm doing this year with my own um, uh, exploration of my creative strengths and talents and potentials, my own experience with how I'm creative is I'm learning and really working with following my intuitive inspiration in the moment. I'm splenically defined, a projector who's splenically defined. So when I feel that creative impulse in the moment, the energy is there to create something. Um, and as you know, and of course I'm waiting for invitations as well to bring things out, and I've had invitations to express some of this to you. If you're watching this, you're giving me somewhat of an invitation, but mostly I'm here just working out my own thoughts and sharing some things with you about creativity, some things that I've learned, and things that I've experienced. So today it's Sunday. It's in the moment. All the foibles and trial and error and everything else is here, out here, live. For everybody to see, and I'm working on mastering part of my own creative ability uh, to, go with that splenic moment. Um, so what do I want to tell you about creative genius? If you have noticed, there's a lot of push out there in the world, a lot of desire out there around, let's be more artistic, let's get in touch with that inner artist. How many of you actually have coloring books? All of these adult coloring books have come out, and they're really great for getting you inside, and for helping you to practice mindfulness, and for helping you to create something that's beautiful in that place of, and while also helping you to reduce your stress and get in touch with who you are, and let go of pressure and stress from the outside. And I know from my own experience and from clients that I'm working with, and just from friends, everybody has an art project. I have an easel. If I turn this laptop around, you'd see my whole art space on the other side of my office, and I have an easel that I keep up. I paint with the art Sherpa, and it's just something that comes out of me. And a lot of my clients are really working with these aspects of themselves where they want to be in this creative flow, where they want to create beautiful things that they can offer to the world, that they can share with the world, or maybe just beautiful things for themselves. And that's wonderful. I think the world needs more beauty, especially in this time where we're seeing things that are disturbing at the very least, and horrific on the other end of the scale. We're seeing things that are ugly. We're experiencing things, or a lot of us are experiencing aspects of relationships that are ugly, maybe aspects of our own shadows that we would judge as ugly. So it's great that there's this collective push, perhaps in response, or maybe it's just time to be more, to bring more beauty into the world. But there's a fine line between creating beauty and the natural creative genius that you embody. And they're not necessarily the same thing. So if you know about human design, and I'm not going to share the chart with you, but let me see if I can show you back there. that's what I threw up on my easel, and did out of my own sense of spontaneous creative inspiration. So I want to bring beauty into the world. I want to make sure that that I express my own sense of or love of the human design chart through art. Okay. So that, anyway, that's what I'm going to refer to. And if you don't know anything about your human design chart, or human design in general, just know that this is the archetype for how humanity is hardwired to function. And that's it in a nutshell. So everything is in here. If you look at these lines here, and these are centers. So these lines are channels that connect these centers, that define these centers. Everyone has an aspect, or certain aspects, various aspects of this chart. Everyone, just about everyone. There's a rare percentage of people in the world who don't have any channels, but everyone has at least, most everyone, 99% of people on the planet have channels defined, these lines that are defined, and I'm pointing to it on my cursor, so that's not helping you. These lines, as my finger goes across, that are defined and colored in on their chart. And when we read the chart, those aspects that are defined are known as channels, and they are places in you where you embody a consistent sense of creative genius. So there are some channels, there's some circuitry. This is kind of like a circuit board. If you were to look at your own design, you would see where you're connected. You would see where you have pieces of circuitry that are kind of reaching out to connect to other people. Um, so this circuitry, it embodies that artistic aspect, that aspect that we normally think of as creativity. It embodies the painter and the musician and the dancer and all of that traditional sense of creativity. But there's also circuitry that embodies the the type of creativity that creates children, and the type of creativity that allows, that makes the meals. And then there's circuitry that embodies the logic or the experience, those types of creativities, where there's a lot of creativity in logical circuitry, for instance. Where you're spotting patterns, you're working with patterns to create something that is in a progressive manner, that turns out to be sometimes very logical and linear, and that's creative. There's creativity in trying something out and experiencing it, and then using that experience to springboard into the next experience, into the progression of the next experience. And that's creative as well, but it's not necessarily artistic. So I guess that's the point I wanted to get over with the inspiration to share today, is that even if you're not a painter, even if you have two left feet, and you don't feel that you have a musical bone in your body, you know, and you somehow you've been conditioned or come to believe through your own wounding or challenges in your life that you don't have anything creative to offer. Just sort of erase that. Let's change that perspective, because you do have some kind of circuitry within you through your defined channels, your defined channels, um, that 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 is creative in some sort of way. And when you know what that is, and you understand how you can live from that uh, uh, in the most healthy and functional way, then you can't help but bring out your creative genius. And even if you're one of those 1%, or if you only have one or two channels defined, and you've got the gates, which are the half lines, if you're looking at your chart, one hexagram of one of the themes of the I Ching that are reaching out. Those are ways that that you come together with other people, or potentials where you can come together with other people in creative process, in the creative process of that circuitry. So we're here to dance together. We're here to bring our genius into the world. And what I feel about 2018 is that last year was a year of preparation. It was a year of kind of getting new footing. And this year is a year of really stepping into the power of our strengths, the power of our creativity. And that doesn't necessarily have anything to do with putting paint on a canvas, or drawing anything, or any of that. But it's time to really live from the place of how you're wired to be creative. So all of this came about, or all of these thoughts and this inspiration came about because I'm working with this really fabulous holistic counselor who's a creative arts therapist, and She's known as the Journal Queen, thejournalqueen.com. And if you've looked at any of our videos, you know that we're getting ready to do a workshop series, a course on how to create your own visual journal, which is not necessarily about making pretty art. It's about getting in touch with who you are inside and bringing that out into a journal so that you can see it and experience it. So my contribution to that, because she's actually the one who's going to teach that part of the class, my contribution to that is this piece about getting in touch with your specific, unique, creative genius. And in doing that, I got inspired to put together a quick class that I'm offering on Thursday, the 18th, which is just coming up. And, you know, Splenic me, in the moment me, got the inspiration, and I'm working on really moving with the energy in the moment this year, moving with my own creative energy in the moment. So, I put it together. I'm going to put a link down at the bottom. It's a bonus for people who are already signed up for the journaling class. But I got this inspiration in the last couple of days that I'd love to offer that to anyone who is interested in understanding more about your chart and how you are designed to be creative. So I think today I finally arrived at a title. It's called Creative Genius by Design. I'll put the link in the bottom here in the description. And, I'd love to have you. I'm getting a little creative with the pricing on it. It's a pay what you want kind of a thing. And the explanation about what that's about is on the little page, the little blurb that I put together for the class. If you know anybody who is really wanting or feeling like they aren't creative, this may be something to turn them on to as well. If you don't want to share, you're more than welcome to share this video of me stumbling through my own my own experiment here of in trial and error of sharing in the moment. Or you can share with them the link to how they can learn to how they can learn and discover what their unique creative genius is. So that's all I have to offer. If you have any comments or thoughts about or questions about your design and how you're hardwired to be creative, you're invited to just leave a comment or go ahead and check out my website at sandyfreshy.com. We can start a conversation. And thank you for coming on and being part of this. So until the next time, I wish you much energy and inspiration in your own creative pursuits.